Hey everyone, let's wait for a couple more minutes. I
Morning, Ulas.
wonder if folks also ended up in a wrong meeting again.
Um, yeah, some of the guys like Yogesh who will be dialing in. Not sure about the others. In the meantime, Ulas, is that okay if I ask a few things to Vinay? Mm, Vinay, uh,
Yes, Suresh.
yeah, Gooty-based registration is failing on TerraVM setup for a crash.
Yeah,
Have we tested this on NGAP simulator or Gooty based registration is
yeah. So we
right?
have tested. So,
Okay.
but so there is one more IE called 5G STMC. So that will be coming in the NGAP message. That basically the unique message. So, but on NGAP, say, on the tester, that IE is not present. But in case of TerraVM, that IE is present.
Oh, okay.
So, so there is a asset to check the size of that AM set ID. So I was checking the logs basically. So
Yeah.
there is a size mismatch.
Yeah.
So that is
Got
the
it.
reason it is crashing.
Right. Right.
So
Understood.
that's why I think 8 that I was talking to Yogesh. He
Yeah.
suggests to give me some hint. So I'm trying to debug that.
Yeah. And TerraVM team will start soon testing the P1 batch of test cases. If you can declare the status on the NGAP tester, if there are any issues that NGAP tester can uncover, we try to fix them early than fixing them towards the end. Today, most of our issues are getting caught on TerraVM than on the DS tester.
Yeah,
So if you can upfront test the P1 set of test cases, so that can really help us.
yeah, sure. I'll be start testing.
Yeah,
All right, let's start our normal meeting. I still see people are joining, but we are 5 minutes past. So Suresh, do you want to give an update?
yes, Ulas. Friday, uh, TerraVM team have tested and declared UE registration, establishment, and then bidirectional traffic flow using SUSI as the identity that is passed. So we are good, at least on that front. And on the Gooty-based registration, there is one a small issue we had on the NGAP. The issue is root cause reproduced. Yogesh has shared a patch for retesting. Somehow, there is still no progress on that front. Gooty-based registration is not yet through. So Yogesh is working with the TerraVM team to pass that.
So out of PZO test cases, how many are we passing currently?
Uh, right now, I'm not able to access the document to us. I can update you soon after this call.
All right. Yeah, let's provide that update, please, on the Slack channel.
Yeah.
And we
And,
can provide an estimate update to Shana's and partner team, basically, so that they know the most up to date status.
Yes, Ulas.
And for the PR, did Yogesh already update the PR?
Yes, Ulas. PR is updated, and the same binary has been tested on TerraVM setup. So all the things which were passing on Friday is still working fine. This GOTI-based registration, this NGAP also is fixed. I think it is again filling in some mass failure, but so apart from that, everything else is even the NGAP fix is also part of the PR and updated with the structure.
So can we then move this from draft mode to ready to merge mode?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I will do one more quick pass. Since we are merging on 5G branch, I can do that very quickly. One more pass and then we can merge. And hopefully it will trigger a new build on the CI. On the latest master, actually there are some issues. The build is taking so long time. And I see some test cases are also failing. I don't know if you know it is because of the sluggishness of the performance after CI team moved on to the focal or something else, but I will follow up with them in terms of what is going on. But I see one successful build at 9 a.m. on Friday, and then whatever is on the latest master Friday evening was very problematic for me at least. I don't know if anyone has a similar experience or not.
Ganesh, did you try, Ganesh or Pravina, did you try any compilation?
I suggest not to rebase your stuff. Basically, if you are still working on your PRs or on the master, if it is already working in your current, PR basically commit, continue working on that until we figure out what is going on there. Because even the slightest change I make on my end on the master, it takes more than 15 minutes just to get that compiled basically. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, the changes that we have taken from Magma 5G branch and attempted to merge into the master. All those changes are localized, and all the functionality is working fine. So yeah, it's a good call, Ulas. We don't rebase the code.
Yeah, I will give you guys green light when I think it is ready to be rebased. Okay. But I guess that is the next big action item in front of us. I mean, start merging things on the 5G from 5G branch to master branch.
Yeah. So PR can be open for review, Ulas.
Of course.
In meantime, in parallel. Yeah.
Okay. Of course. I mean, if you just tell me what the priority of the PRs in what order, as usually, if you can pin on the Slack channel. Because currently team raised one big PR, no? I mean, from Yogesh, and there are a bunch of other PRs as well. Let me see on Project 5Gs if anything is pinned over there.
I think for master, everything is for Magma 5G plus. We'll pin it probably today or worst case tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah, this porting PR, it is really challenging, Ulas, to have smaller chunks reviewed and merged, because every file has thick dependencies, and yeah, it's completely wired code, right? So isolating them at this stage is turning out to be a real challenge.
Did the session D changes? I mean, did it merge, or is
They're
it
not just
still under
merged.
review?
Yeah, the review, most of the PRs related to the migration from 5G branch to the master related to the historic PR 3898. Review comments are addressed and they're waiting on the sidelines for the merge.
I mean, what is it pending if it is already reviewed?
Yeah, they were reviewed. Comments were addressed last week. Basically, we held them all back and put them in a queue because there is this logistic we are all waiting for, right? Say, the major release is planned out of master branch, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that is the only reason it is not being merged. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Anything else that needs to be discussed regarding the 5G?
Yeah, I think we can talk offline on the PCF changes we are exploring. Basically, as you suggested, we are now working on a draft, basically on the APIs that we have in 4G, how they are to be extended, and also consulting the specs to see what all information elements need to be consumed in the context of this change. So I think it will take a week time for us to proposal.
And then for the team to get into the rhythm of the general procedures, all the changes being considered, I mean, we need to submit it as a proposal in the form of a PR.
Yes,
get comments about it, get the blessing from the TSA, I guess. And then there should be a clear design scoping document basically around it.
Understood that, Ulas. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Is there any question from the other participants about the 5G feature? If not, then let's do around the table updates. Let me see, Lionel, do you wanna give an update on the OAI side about the items the team is working on?
Yes, Ulash. Actually, we are in the process of merging the last PRs concerning NSA. As you mentioned, Ulash, recently maybe there will be a backport because the tree will be frozen today. We are starting with Moit the NB-IoT implementation. We are first defining the phase, but the implementation can start, let's say, this week with no problem. It is a matter of just, for example, connecting an IoT device with control plane optimization for the transfer of user data. And you are also in the process of starting also the C++ migration of the 4G MME for enabling better, let's say, performances in terms of contextualization. I think it is That's all actually. If you see other points, wait, you can add your points.
No, that's you summed up everything here. And I'm also working on the NB IoT edition, going through the 3GPP standards to verify what all needs to be added or updated in the existing code.
Mohit, you were saying you had a question. You want to discuss it now?
Yeah, sure. My question was actually from a colleague of mine who's working for Mosaic 5G, which is a member of the OSA now. And he asked me that if we have a feature in Magma NME in which we can get the details of the connection, the details or the states of the connection, which means the IP address or the packet transferred, the packet dropped, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, we do have metrics exporting from MMA to the orchestrator.
Okay.
The full list we can, I think we have it somewhere documented in terms of full list of metrics. Yeah, let's sync up offline.
Yep, sure.
In terms of packet drops, etc., that I don't know if we keep track of that stats, but the throughput, the number of sessions accepted or rejected, you know, all this stuff I think are pushed basically to orchestrator.
Okay, thank you. I will drop a message to you offline then to know about the documentation.
So Ulas, does this info go as reports in 4G?
Yeah, these are metrics basically with as part of the Magma D service. Actually, we should have a documentation already on our web page, basically on the GitHub.
Sure, Ulas.
You know, if you go to the documentation side from the GitHub, let me try to pull it out. Yeah, if you, let me show you my screen. 1 second. I hope by now everyone knows basically, you know, this page. That is our main landing page for documentation. And if you go to GitHub page, basically, it will also have a link from there. So if you go to this metric side, it provides information about list of metrics currently available. Mohit, maybe you can just point your colleague to this page.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't see the packet drop stats per se, but yeah, there are a lot of things about the procedural stuff that has succeeded or failed. So actually there is
You drop usage.
yeah. These are probably per, yeah, these are per UE, not granulated per session, but typically there is you have one session per UE typically, unless you are using some Vaulty feature. And if you have an IMS-based integration, which I suspect your colleague doesn't have. Okay.
Yep, that's it. Thanks.
All right. Let's move on. Is Prithvi online? Hey, Prithvi,
Yes,
do you want to quickly give an update on the service area restriction?
yeah. I addressed the review comments and I retested. I basically took the commit ID that you shared, since on the latest master, I'm not able to bring up Magma VM. So on the commit ID that you shared, I put my changes and I retested on Terra VM setup. It works fine, and I added the label ready to merge. So, but yeah, the flag on ULR, the regional subscription flag, is missing. Apart from that, everything else looks fine.
So that is the fake site, no?
Right, yeah.
Is the Federation Gateway updated on the test setup?
I am not sure of that.
Yeah. Okay, let's follow up on that with Oriole.
Okay.
I think all the changes are in, but maybe something is missed. But we are passing the Terra VM tests. I am also surprised
Yes.
that maybe HSS doesn't even check that flag.
Yeah, it's not checking the flag, I think.
Okay, let me also, yeah, let's catch up with both Oriole and Arun.
Yeah.
But I will merge the PR. I don't think there is anything else to be done on the access gateway side.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's all.
And what is the next thing we'll be working on?
There are two open items. One is adding this obvious flow rule deletion into all the test cases, and the other thing is the emergency call. So which one do you want me to take up first?
Let's try to scope out the emergency stuff. I think the other one is a bit more brute force, but at this stage, I don't want to basically update the S1AP tests yet. Yeah, I mean, let's merge on that scoping. I may also pull you out to troubleshooting some of the issues, basically.
Okay.
There is Mari basically has hooked up the Sentry from our basically the scale testing infra. We are getting now reports about crashes. Those crashes typically do not show up basically on the field because they are not running at that scale. Yeah, I mean, if something comes up, maybe I can also pull you into that.
Yeah, sure.
And as I was telling you, the other thing is I am not sure what is going on, but this particular test that I shared over the chat with you basically, that is consistently failing on the latest master.
Oh, which test is this, Suresh?
That is the one with all the timer expirations on the NAS procedures. Like the authentication is repeated maximum times, security mode also repeated maximum times, etc. and so on. There is this particular test case. What I am seeing is timer expires in the authentication once and then it doesn't expire again. So it looks like both access gateway and as well as S1AP tester, they are just waiting.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the issue is on the access gateway side. Somehow the timer is not expiring again as it should.
Is MME crashing?
There is no crash. It is not just the timer is not expiring.
Okay. Okay.
And whatever, as I said, happened has happened last Friday. Either one of the merge PRs was not tested or somehow the build is actually not proper.
Okay. Yeah, the thing is, we are not able to bring up Magma VM on the latest master. Even Ankit is facing the same issue.
Yeah. Okay, I will also, yeah. I mean, that is a P0 thing actually. Praveen, you are on the call now. Do you have any insights on this?
Sorry, what is the issue?
After Friday, basically, our releases team basically is not able to bring up VMs on their front.
Oh, VM. I haven't seen any issues bringing up the VMs. Yeah, okay, let me check what is which channel have you posted the message?
On Slack, Dell channel, as well as on our workplace chat. That is this group channel.
Okay, so Tim did reply to you, right? So he said, did you destroy the VM? So what you need to do
Is it?
is, sorry?
Okay, I didn't see his reply, but yeah, I tried destroying also.
So what happens is that when you upgrade to the latest master, you no longer see the Magma underscore focal VM. So did you
Right,
ever
yes.
brought up the Magma focal VM?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens is that Magma Focal and Magma VM has the same IP address. So if both are running, the provision is not going to be successful, or there would be multiple issues. So probably the easiest thing would be go back, check out the version 151 or 150, destroy the Magma Focal VM, and then
That, okay, you have to destroy. I just did halt. Okay.
yeah, so probably, yeah, halt, if it is halted, that's also good. And then bring then check out the master branch again, and then bring up the Magma dev VM. And probably you also need to destroy all the test and
Yeah, I tried destroying all the VMs, and then I tried Vagrant up Magma, but with that also I was getting the same error. It says Ubuntu 64 is not a valid guest OS type. I've posted that error message, but this is what we are getting.
Yeah, this one I have not seen actually. This is something because I brought up so which base OS do you have? Is it Linux or Mac?
Yeah, Linux.
Okay, on Linux also I tried this. I am using Ubuntu 2004 as a base Linux OS, and on that I can bring the Vagrant VMs.
We have 1604. I'm not sure if
that should not. Yeah, that. Let's talk about. Let's confirm the versions, the Vagrant versions and the VirtualBox version. I can check mine, and then we can see if there is any differences. So
okay.
But yeah, because it's working on the 2004, for me it should be working on 1604 also. I don't see much issues.
And Praveen, do you have any idea why the builds are so slow? I mean, is it because of the super build PRs that has been merged, or is it something else?
Actually, I have not tried build since Friday. I've been mostly looking at the Python related stuff, so I can try it out now.
Okay, because as I was trying to tell the team here, I mean, with every changes or switching between different PRs, I mean, the build is taking forever basically for me, and make test also didn't succeed at all. I mean,
Oh, okay. So at least before, like a week back, maybe around earlier in the week, the build was fine for me inside. I didn't see much issue. So if it
Yeah,
slowed now.
whatever happened on Friday. I mean, that day I was off basically.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday evening it was working fine for me. And
Yes,
when I tried to do something over the weekend over the latest masters, I was experiencing this huge delays or no success cases basically for building the test.
okay, let me try it and
Ullas, I think LI isn't, they have some, it was failing, compilation is failing in master.
What is failing on masters?
LI isn't model.
LI?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I mean, even without LI, I mean, when I do make build underscore OAI, that is basically supposed to be only
Yeah,
building
just now I
the
compared it.
MME side basically. Even that was problematic for me. I mean, it compiles, but it takes too long.
Okay. I just now compiled it. Without LI isn't it compiled and it's fine.
Ah. So what did you do? You just commented out the LI part on makefile?
Yeah. From makefile, I removed LI isn't and it was compiled fine.
All right. Can you post it on the Slack channel, actually, on the dev? That will be helpful to the team.
Yeah, I will post on Slack channel.
All right. Rashmi, do you have any updates on your end? Is Rashmi on the call? Yeah. Hey, Rashmi, can you hear me? Can anyone else hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Ullas.
I hear you.
All right,
That's
good.
fine.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm working on supporting the dedicated bidder for roaming UEs. But in terms of managing the context, like updating the context with P gateways, user plane, IP address and TAD, and eNode B's IP address and eNode B for dedicate where it is done. But while posting the messages, I have query regarding since it's asynchronous messages, should we proceed with having the completion queue as a part of gRPC? The similar thing is as done for the session D. I just looked at the S6A because there also it is asynchronous. But for S6A, like reset message or cancel location request messages, we don't really wait for the response from the UE or the MME perspective. So we are sending the response immediately. But whereas for the S8 proxy, as soon as we receive the gRPC message, we'll be sending the create bearer request to MME and then ERAP setup request to UE. And UE has to respond, and later MME has to send a create bearer response to S8 proxy. Then it has to send a response to the a P gateway. But since here we'll be waiting, like we cannot send the response immediately. We have to wait until we get a response from the UE. So in that case, should we go ahead with implementing the completion queue? That I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, let's talk with Oriol on that front. I mean, we can do it in multiple ways, I guess. I'm returning status OK for gRPC is just acknowledging the reception of the gRPC. So it is not the, I mean, we can still send a response message.
Okay.
To the fact side, basically. I mean, do we want to build that logic on the fact side, or
Yeah,
do
exactly.
we want to do it on the S8 task side on the access gateway? Yeah, we need to figure that out. But yeah, we shouldn't be blocking.
Right. We had a discussion over last weekend. Yeah, but we thought like we'll seek your opinion on that part. And I posted this query on the workplace.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, in the other parts of the code, it is we acknowledge gRPCs immediately.
Yes.
But there is, for a very long time, there was no closed loop basically. But I think now, at least from the session D perspective, we have all the closed loops. I need to double check that. But for example, when we update the tide information.
Okay.
And until then, the flows are not getting activated. If flows are not getting activated, cannot get activated, then session deletes the session, which ends up detaching the user on the MME side, etc., and so on. But here, yeah, there is a dilemma because flag is supposed to be stateless and just translating messages back and forth. Yeah, I mean, we may basically want to adopt something different here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's discuss it. I mean, I wasn't aware of this issue until now, so I will talk to Oriol. But this is this have to be on 1.6 or this is still for 1.7, no? The dedicated
Sorry,
support.
I lost the connection. I didn't get few words.
This feature is for 1.7, no? For dedicated bearer support.
Yeah, I think so.
For the inbound roaming.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, let's sort it out this week.
Yeah. One more thing is regarding the LBA received on the release session request. That part. In regards to the stateless support for the UEIP IMSI map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in order to remove the UEIP address, we added the remove UEIP address from the map. And in order to get since the UEIP is stored per PDN, we are fetching the PDN based on the LBI received on the release session response. Yeah, like you had suggested, let's guard under the flag that embedded S gateway, but this flag is being used for the PDN disconnect also.
Yeah, I guess this is a question, Lionel, for you, since you made that comment on the PR. Currently, we are using the LBI information in a number of places, and OAI CAPS basically core, was not complaining about those so far. Is the reason those paths, basically execution paths, never gets realized when the CAPS is used?
Yes, that's the reason why otherwise it would have failed.
But what about on the same file itself? I mean, that particular code is moved within the if clause to outside, but that if clause doesn't strike me as something that is Magma or OAI specific. I think it is the common part in the whole call flow processing. Can you double check on that?
Yes, I have to sync with you after. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at the PR comments. Basically, I don't know if you have seen all the comments on the PR. I made a bunch of them.
Okay. Okay, I did not.
And ask you some questions there, basically. Yeah, if we can keep that track going and finalize this, that would be great.
Ulash, one more thing, like removing the IP UAIP from that map, I can move it as a part of the PDN deletion part also. Yeah, but for that one, again, I have to make some other changes because it was impacting as in during the stateless or when MME restarts.
Yeah, I mean, if what I suggested.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. If what I suggested, I mean, and sandwiching that piece of code between defined statements, if that is a fix or does it have any other side effect? Even if it doesn't have any side effect, I think that will be the path of least resistance. But I want to make sure that earlier, before the change, I mean, whatever that statement was in, why wasn't it causing any issues for the CAPS architecture? I want to understand that portion. So if that if clause again was never executed by the OAI CAPS architecture, then I think what I am suggesting is fine. But if it is a matter of just because it is not tested properly, then it creates another issue. Does this make sense? All right.
Ullas, not understood. Can you re-explain? I tried to grasp, but I couldn't follow. Ullas, on the
which portion? The last?
Yeah, last one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, this is related to the inbound roaming support we have. Currently, Magma basically can serve in the capacity of an serving gateway to an outside packet gateway if there is a roaming user coming into the Magma network. So we have defined this S8 related tasks basically to implement an S8 interface between the Magma and an external packet gateway. And that basically, we had to make some changes in terms of how we support the paging for the users. Because before, previously, it was internal to our Magma code base, so we could basically fetch the IMSI from the IP address and use that IMSI to page the users. Now, since the IP address for inbound roaming users is assigned by packet gateway, a third-party packet gateway, our mobility D service is bypassed for those users. It's not even seeing that. So for those users, what we do is, when the packet gateway during the create session call flow, we maintain now a map on the MME side of the code, from IP address to IMSI. So, we we provide a reverse map. Basically, IP address is already in the PDN context basically, but we don't want to traverse that just to find out that reverse mapping. Now we maintain a hash map from IP address to IMSI. And when we are trying to delete session, we are supposed to also delete that entry from that map. And in Magma code base, the delete session messages, basically the response messages, they include link bearer ID, the default bearer ID for the session. And we directly use that to fetch a PDN context and the IP address of that. But according to the 3GPP spec, the create session response doesn't have that LBI information. That is a Magma internal add-on. And now Magma MME is used by also the OAI CAPS architecture. So they actually provide the SP gateway functionality as well, following the CAPS model. Since MME part is the common part, when they do in their delete session response message, there is never a LBI information passed. The default bearer information is not there as per the spec.
I see.
Okay, so searching through LBI then breaks the OAI code base basically. Not Magma, but it breaks OAI. So there were two questions. We use this LBI in other parts of our code base, why it wasn't breaking before. The short answer is probably those paths, code execution paths, were never exercised by the call flows implemented by the OAI CAPS, basically call flows.
So is there a
and the second issue is, how do we fix the current PR so that OAI CAPS doesn't complain?
So was there no standard available GX interface for the different domain crossing? I mean, the network versus out of, this is in network versus, it's a mobility issue, right? In network and out of network. So the mapping which you maintain for the IPMC, MCIP, is there no standard available in the GX interface for that? When you go from one network to another network?
We are not talking about the GX interface. No, we are talking about S5, S8 interface between the serving gateway and packet gateway.
Okay. So, is there a reason that IPMC mapping is not available to either side, or should not be available to for privacy reasons or something?
In 3GPP, when MME sends delete session to SP gateway, basically, the response doesn't have the LBI information.
Okay.
Okay, but in Magma it has.
Okay. So that
is the problem, because OAI is following the S11 spec. But Magma is using internal gRPC code. So that portion of, if you look at the source code, you will see a virtual interface defined. So it either goes to S11 if the CAPS architecture is enabled, if you are building for that, against that. If you are building against Magma end-to-end, it goes to a gRPC call flow.
I see. Okay, so there is a difference there. That's
so those basically have, when the responses come back, there are different tasks depending on which build you are using that takes into that and maps into an internal message, ITTI message, inter-thread message. Okay, and then the procedures on the MME side are shared.
I see.
Okay, so that portion basically is creating an issue. Anyhow, I mean,
Yeah, so deleting is an option, sure. As I think Rashmi, right? She mentioned something, deleting the maps and recreating them again, maybe.
Oh,
Sorry.
she's talking about that portion is a separate problem. I mean, because of the stateless feature, how we write to the hash tables, and if from crash, how we recover those hash tables. But let's take this offline. I don't think.
Sure, we'll take it offline. Yeah.
If you don't have enough context, you cannot really provide a solution, Prakash. So
Yeah, no.
if you are interested, I can give you the PR number and you can check what is going on. All right. Anything else? I mean, we have 7 minutes left. Does anyone want to bring any open item?
Ulas, should we consider using TerraVM on the 5G CI instead of DS tester?
Yeah, that also we need to discuss offline. I mean, Phil is here, you know, and he is very well aware of all the discussions happening on licensing, usage, and pros and cons for different stuff. Let's take Gosh and other folks into this discussion and maybe have a dedicated session on that.
Yeah, Ulas, that's a good plan, because right now the CI team has been working diligently to get DS tester up and running, and they have it almost there finally as of this morning. I don't think that there was any particular look at doing TerraVM, and it would be this team's request to do that, right? So if we need to get it to the CI team and get that request to them, we should do that right away.
Yes, Phil, I think.
Yeah. And remember, we have a trial license with TerraVM.
Yeah, temporarily.
So this is not about let's swap this X versus Y. It is a matter of budget as well.
Noted, Ulas. Yeah.
All right. With that, thanks everyone. I hope you will have a good week, productive week. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone. Yep.